super weird in my
It's
ears.
very, very popular these days.
Is it as popular as it used to be?
Yeah,
Okay,
I view
now
it.
that's all I can hear in my ear.
I know. It's a lot of noises today.
It's a lot going on in this room.
No, but I feel like the ASMR thing is more fetish than anything. A lot of people say it helps them go to sleep, but
If I heard
So
those
does-
noises in my ears to go to sleep,
you'd probably have some pretty wild dreams.
or I would be serial killer.
I feel like it would put you on like another planet when you're sleeping.
I mean, Archer's cry in the middle of the night is kind of like ASMR.
No, that's like torture. It's like torture, and like if I had to imagine what waterboarding was like,
That's what it is.
that's
for
what
you.
Archer is when he wakes up at 2 a.m.
I don't disagree.
Instead of telling us he pooped, just to scream bloody murder.
God.
So
And I don't know how many times you have to be like, all you have to say is, I pooped.
I know.
I'll come right in there and change you.
Life would be a lot easier for that kid if he would just say I pooped.
No, literally.
Actually, life would be easier for us.
Yeah,
if
if
you
he
just
just
say,
said
"I
I pooped. It's true too.
So, we're miserable in bed and he's sitting there with poop in his pants. So,
Which is very fitting to today's conversation. Perspective.
perspective.
Well, let's get
So,
into it.
I did find a good verse in Corinthians for perspective.
All right.
It's Corinthians 4:18. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And there was a note that came with that said, where we focus our gaze determines the kind of perspective we have. If we keep our eyes on God, our Heavenly Father feeds His children with wisdom and strength. God reminds us to look up and ask for divine perspective, for we have been given the mind of Christ. His blessings are always ready for us and are waiting to be released. And so,
Amen.
Amen. But, when your perspective is skewed and you're stuck in a certain point of view or POV, you're looking at, the scene. You're looking at what is happening right now, or even what your brain is training you to look into the future and the vision in the future, what you think that's going to be.
Yeah.
Instead of, really, again, giving it to God and trying to realize that, the walk that you're going through in life right now, or whatever situation is supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
So instead of, bitching and complaining or crying over it or hiding in a corner from it or distancing yourselves from that or people or whatever it is, learning why it's happening. What's the reason for it?
Mm-hmm.
How can I manipulate the situation in my head to make it a more positive situation?
Right.
What can I do to walk the same path with a different mindset? Because we're all on the same path.
For sure.
No matter what. Not all of us are on the exact same path, but we're always on our path.
Yeah.
And when we deviate, it's because our perspective in our life has changed.
Yeah.
And that's when we deviate.
I think also part of that too comes into play of other people's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Of the exact same situation. If it's two people meeting in the middle for a conversation, one's coming in one way, one's coming the other way, different perspectives, might be the same outcome, might not be.
Right.
But two different perspectives can always just totally change the way any conversation goes.
For sure.
So it's very wild.
Yeah, there's always going to be different perspectives, no matter what. And that's going to be a heavily used word this episode, of course. But, it's just shifting your perspective. It's really in words and, in term, it's easy to say, easy to think. Mm-hmm. But, lately I've had to change my perspective.
Yeah.
When it comes to work, or it comes to, my head, my, walk in life with depression and anxiety, and trying to alter my perspective on that. Give it to God.
Yeah.
Know that He doesn't put any one of us through anything we can't handle. And if we lose that perspective and we go down a darker perspective where we give up, or we say God's left me, or I'm reading Job right now, and that's the same thing, right? It's where, Job went through a lot of horrendous things, and I think I'm probably a third way through or halfway through right now, but you're at a lot of points where he lost his perspective.
Yeah.
God obviously never gave up on him, but he lost his perspective. Kind of in the same sense, like an addict would lose their perspective.
Yeah.
Where you get someone who is church bound and family oriented, and something happens.
Yeah.
And their perspective in their life has now been altered.
Yeah.
And they've moved to the left or to the right, away from God, if they were even there. Whatever positive thing they had in their life, if it's not God, they've now moved away from that.
Yep.
And that's when they start to go down those dark roads. And now their perspective is like,
Totally skewed.
is a boat anchor.
Yeah.
And it's just sinking to the bottom. And
For
that's
sure.
all they see is that anchor.
Yep.
And woe is me, and here I go, instead of, thinking, okay, well, what can I do to change this?
Mm-hmm. There's the old saying that the grass is greener, right, on the other side.
Right.
But the next line to the old saying is, but the grass is greener where you water it too.
Right. The grass is only greener
Right.
if you water it.
Right.
Right.
So it really does tell you, the grass is greener on the other side, but when you water it and you take care of it and you manicure it and you do all the things, of course it looks great.
Right.
Of course that job looks really shiny and fantastic because it offers you more money, but you know what else it offers you? 25 extra hours a week takes you away
Right.
from the things that would make you happy.
Right.
And,
Or a really bad boss.
yeah, I mean,
Or terrible coworkers. I mean, you
Absolutely.
never know.
you don't. And so perspective in any situation is huge.
Right.
I have, I've been trying really hard to shift my perspective on a lot of things in life. And when I say a lot of things, I mean like all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friendships, food, working out, instead of being like, oh God, I got to get up at 5:15 to go for a walk. It's like, I get to get up at 5:15 and go for a walk.
For sure.
Like, not a lot of people have that luxury.
Right.
And not a lot of people have the luxury to go do it with great people. And so it's definitely like a mind shift. And once you do it and you've gotten into it, you don't like to not do it, which
Right.
is wild.
Right.
I've always just think like the people that go to the gym religiously, I'm like, God, what is wrong with you?
Freaks.
Yeah. Right. But once you do it,
Once you get into it, that's a
and
habit.
yeah,
Right.
and your perspective changes,
Right.
they don't see any other way. And I can totally relate to that. I get that now.
Right.
But that's, again, in any situation, right? Like, talk about food. Like, do I want to eat healthy and clean all the time? No.
No.
But I get to.
Right.
I have the ability to buy better food for us and for the kids, and to teach them better food habits that, we didn't know back then. So instead of being like, God, organic food is so much more expensive.
Right.
I'm blessed that I get to be able to provide that to our family and to our kids.
But it's not even where we are, where we are financially.
Yeah, no, that's not even a thing.
It's about, again, looking at different areas in your life that you can change in order to afford that, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that, I see on comments, not on us, but online of all sorts of videos where, people talking about, making this for dinner, making that for dinner, making this for your kids for your lunches. And of course, there's, half people in the world are miserable.
Yeah.
And their perspective is, I'm broke and I can't afford that. And here I am watching you, Miss Sally Mayfield, on Instagram, making all these beautiful lunches for your kids.
Is Sally Mayfield a real person?
I don't know who that is. I don't even know where that name came from. It's
That's impressive.
pretty good.
I was like, wow, are you watching
Sally
Sally Mayfield
Mayfield.
make some cool lunches?
No,
Send
I
me
don't know
her
who that is.
information.
Excuse me. So, but what I'm saying is that, like we did, right? We're not by any means, not even close to being wealthy people.
No.
But what we did was we said, okay, we are going to really shut down just how much frivolous stuff we're buying on Amazon.
Yep.
And we have greatly.
Yeah.
And that freed up funds to buy better food.
100%.
Now, if I want to do this carnivore thing, it's expensive, and we can afford that.
Yep.
Because we stopped spending $400 or $500 a month on Amazon stuff that we truly didn't need. And that goes back a few episodes where I said, the question is can we live without it?
Yeah.
It's not a no. It's not a yes.
Right.
Can we live without it?
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and there's a lot of things we can live without.
Yeah.
And food is not one of them.
Right.
And our health is not one of them.
And I'm just not willing to sacrifice that anymore, especially for the long term.
Right.
Exactly. I'm here to teach our kids much better food habits and things that they'll be able to take with them long term. And I would rather us build that foundation now.
Right.
So that when we're 80, we're not trying to figure it out then when it's
right. I'd like to spend money.
too late.
I'd like to spend more money on our health now.
Yeah.
Than spend more money on our health when we're 65.
Right.
Or 70.
Yeah.
Which, sadly, a lot of people in this world are,
at that point it's too late.
They're going that route these days because there's so much crap out there.
Yeah.
But again, perspective is everything. Your perspective drives you every single day from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And you can look at it from a terrible point of view.
Yeah.
Or you can look at it from a positive point of view.
Yeah.
And not every day is going to be gravy, and not every day is going to be happy.
No.
And not every day is going to be sunny and 72. And
which would be fantastic.
Which would be great. But when it's not.
But most days are going to be 95 and humid.
Right. But when it's not, I don't sit inside and,
right.
cry like a baby. We get up, we do our thing because God is good, life is good.
Yeah.
And our perspectives are good most of the time.
Right. And, another big one for us too is like a big shift for me in this year for 2024 was like getting outside more. We all know like the joke, right? It's like I was never coming back to Florida.
Right.
And part of that is because it's so damn hot here.
Nasty this summer.
It is disgusting.
Yeah.
But I also was like, you know what? I feel better outside. I get that it's hot and like, in those moments I may be quote unquote miserable because it's so hot, but like I physically feel better after being outside and after being in the sun. And I watch our kids thrive being outside. And so suck it up.
Right.
Suck it up. Because at the end of the day and after, an hour or whatever, you're going to be fine and you're going to, nothing's going to be, terrible.
And it's also really good for you.
It is.
Come on, man. Like our bodies are built to soak up the sun.
To be outside.
Yeah. To be moving, to be sweating.
Yep.
And the humidity sucks.
Yes.
But, I could use a little bit of sweating.
100%.
And I'll take it all day. And it, like I said, it's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm going to go outside and it's going to be hot as balls. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to stay doing it because the kids could care less because their perspectives are so solid at 2 and 4 and 6 and 7, and they're just playing kickball and running around sweating like crazy.
Oh God.
And they don't care.
No.
And here we are as adults with skewed views of the world and terrible perspectives half time sitting here going, it's so moody and humid and I just want to go home and sit inside in my air conditioning and where I'm losing literally all the vitamins in my body.
No, it's true. It's so true. And, it's funny. I also am like, man, if these kids can go out here and run around this park, I can be outside. Like they don't complain about it being hot. They just go and they love it. And who am I to be like the Debbie Downer?
I know.
I'd be like, it's too hot. We're not going out there.
Right.
Like, no, or even just going out in the driveway.
Right. And I refuse to be old. Like I refuse to grow old.
Right.
In my mind, I'm 18 years old.
Your mind.
My body, in my body, I feel like I'm starting to feel 40.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. No way.
Right.
No matter, what I weigh or how I feel that day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the situation. I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm so.
You're shaking it off and moving on.
I'm not even going through it. I'm
right.
like, no way. No way.
No, it's true. I was getting a massage a couple weeks ago and the lady was like, your like knees and your thighs are like super tight. And I know you mentioned you've been walking, but like maybe you should stretch before you do it. And I was like,
You probably should.
like, don't, lady, don't skew this for me.
But she was right.
But she was right, and I should definitely do that. So, so I want to talk about a few things for us on perspective. I want us to use like specific situations and more like tangible things. What for you what part of your perspective has changed? What do you view differently now? And how did you get there?
Going back just to what we were just talking about, for me, the most recent one, the most impactful one has been my depression and anxiety. Right. And I talk about Miss Mary like, she's my guardian angel or something. But man, everything.
But she's also really, really funny.
She's hilarious.
She's really funny.
She's incredible. It's a therapist that sends a text message out to her entire clientele that says, pray for Trump during the debate.
I'm like, ma'am, your prayers worked.
And I'm all about it.
It was
I'm
fantastic.
all about it. What a great debate for a whole nother time.
Yes, but no.
But
it's true.
She has definitely helped change my perspective. I mean, instantaneously, that woman, it's like she got in my head. I allowed her in my head, and she has done work and continues to do work. But man, has she changed my perspective on depression. I was listening to George Janko and Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is...
Did you finally listen to the whole
I finally
thing?
listened to the whole thing.
So good.
But he's strong-minded, and he's a very confident dude, and I don't agree with everything he says.
No.
Some of it, some of his delivery is harsh, which I don't care about it. I'm not complaining about it, but, sometimes he, kind of goes back an episode or two ago where I said, how I'm starting to view things is making me kind of insensitive when I talk to people, because I'm starting to feel like the same thing he's talking about, which is like, how can I do it and you can't? I don't get it.
Right.
And I couldn't do it a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. So now I'm here. So I'm trying to do that balance of, I don't feel sorry for you, but I'm here to help you. Yeah. And that's a thin line to ride, because I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I also need to come across as, compassionate.
Yeah.
So going back to, changing my perspective on the depression and anxiety is that, it's now for me, it's like an exercise every day. Not that I'm going back and forth every day thinking, God, I'm waking up depressed and getting through it in the afternoon, but I can identify it now. I can see when it's happening. I know what to do when it's happening. I pray more than I've ever prayed my entire life.
Yeah.
In the last 6 months, I probably pray 3 to 5 times a day, like literal prayers,
right.
And, being thankful for everything we have and everything I have daily with praying to Jesus, praying to God. If I get a good email, I stop and I look up and I pray and say thank you. And those little things have helped me totally eradicate depression completely out of my head. Right. And again, I think we're human beings. We're supposed to feel things. We're supposed to feel
Absolutely.
sad. We are supposed to have anxiety. We're supposed to have those feelings of stress and those feelings of doubt and sadness. But we're also supposed to have God to help us understand the situation in which that's happening.
Well, yeah, he says it's not going to be easy.
Right. Nothing's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy until it's over.
Right.
Right. Go back to Job. Go back to all his disciples.
Yeah.
Right.
Or any kings ruling.
They were, he was crucified. They were tortured. They lied. Like, nothing's easy.
No.
So being thankful constantly for the things you do have and the things that you are going through and the small triumphs that you do have, the small wins, which I'm learning to celebrate and I'm learning to appreciate, everything down to, like I said, a good email from a client. Yeah. I'm like, or a text message, hey, you guys killed it at work. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to, identify those things, appreciate those things, and everything else that is below those or worse than that, or those sad feelings for no reason at all, those moments are starting to go away completely.
Right.
Because I changed my perspective. Now my perspective is God. My perspective is giving it to a higher power.
Yeah.
And allowing my faith to grow to a point where I don't have to be sad anymore. I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be depressed. And if I feel those things, I can get rid of them fairly quickly now and be done with it and move on.
Yeah.
And I think as a human being, that's how it's supposed to work.
Right.
You know, there is depression. Do you have to take a pill for it? I don't think so. But I think you need to find the right people, the right person to talk to, like Miss Mary, who doesn't sit there and go, I know what you need to be on. You need to be on this Prozac. Well, I've already been on Prozac. You know, what else do you have? Anything new?
Yeah.
You know, well, we've got, you know, Xanax. I've already been on Xanax. That's a great thing. I have a bunch in the cabinet, you know, but, you know, is there anything new?
Right.
You know, instead she's like, you don't need any of that stuff. I'm going to get you off all of that stuff. Yep. And here you need to take this fish oil. And
ooh, you're going to put it in?
I'm going to put it in there.
Nice.
But,
I like it.
you know, and now I swear by it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, her words were, you need to take this Nordic fish oil. It's a liquid form. You just drink it or take it by the spoonful. You can give it on Amazon or wherever else you want to get it. I think it's like $45. It lasts me about a month. And she said, I guarantee you in 10 days, you will be fixed. And I left there the first time.
Like neutered?
Yep. Fixed. Fixed. So no more kids.
Perfect. Wow. That was quick.
It's good fish oil. It's bad fish oil, I guess.
Yeah.
But no joke. I left there the first time. I was microdosing mushrooms. I stopped doing that. I was taking Prozac, stopped doing that. I took probably Xanax maybe once a month for anxiety, if I had a bad anxiety at work or something. Haven't done that. And in 10 days, like, I have not looked back.
Yeah.
I've been in such a good place, such a good mood. Work has been flying, you know, in an incredibly positive direction.
Yeah.
You know, our relationship is good. Our kids are doing great.
Yeah.
You know, our relationship is great. Our kids are doing great.
Yeah.
But, you know, so my perspective has wildly changed.
Yeah.
You know, and from that point, from that area of my life, and that was the only area of my life that I felt needed work.
Was the depression and anxiety?
Was the depression and
piece?
anxiety, yeah, because that held me down. That made me not want to get out of bed. That made me not want to go to bed. That made me not want to get my work done. That made me, you know, my boredom was, you know, everlasting. I felt like I was bored every moment of every day. And it's just a mixture of everything that just makes me want to sit and just be like, this sucks, man. Everything sucks. And so I felt like that for even on medication.
Yeah.
Off and on for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm like a total free spirit now. I don't have any of it. It's insane. Right. It's crazy.
I have to agree with all of what you said because it is true. Your perspective on one specific thing then trickled into a bunch of other areas in your life. And I don't think people realize that too.
Right.
You know, when you have a skewed perspective in one area of your life, it bleeds into other things.
Yeah. Big time. It's like a virus.
Yeah. And then you start bleeding onto other people.
Yep.
And I just keep thinking to myself, like, I will be damned if I'm ever a person that bleeds onto somebody else. Like, that's some generational trauma, like, that needs to be fixed and sorted out. And, but I just, once you fix your perspective in one area, it really will shift in others. And it's a very real thing. And it made me think, what is an area of mine that I needed to shift my perspective on? And mine was people. And I could go back, like, you know, I was just telling Autumn this story. But when I graduated high school, I lent a friend money who was in a tough time, and I never got the money back.
Right.
And it was my graduation money, and I was 18, and I don't know about any other 18-year-olds out there or any of us when we were 18, but $800 was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. And so I gave her money. And at that time, I didn't realize that you don't give people money if you are expecting to get it back. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
never.
not how it works.
Right.
But for years, I didn't trust friends because this was my best friend that did this to me, that never paid me back and like went on with her life. And, would always say like, oh, I promise I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. And then nothing happened.
Where's the money?
Right. So I remember sitting with a therapist, and I had to be like 25 years old at that point. And she was like, you need to stop. Like, this situation has bled into you not making friends right now.
Right.
Because I was so standoffish with people. And I was like, oh, like I didn't think of it like that, but that's true. My perspective of everybody was tainted by this, one situation with one person who was probably going through something way deeper, darker, and crappier than I was. And the last thing on her mind was like, I got to give this person this money back. She was probably just trying to figure out how to make ends meet for the rest of her life. Right.
Exactly.
And so again, perspective shift. And once I did that, I didn't think about it anymore. It became like a dead issue for me.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like fast forward to, and this is a somewhat more recent thing, but it had to be about, 5 years ago. I went to a conference, and somebody at the conference asked me what it was like to be married to a Trump supporter. And I was like, isn't it the same to be like married to anybody else? Like,
yeah, same thing.
I don't understand. And this was like, I was deep into politics at this point. This was right when, everything was going on, and it was a big one for me. And I sat back that trip, and I was like, wow, that's how somebody viewed me.
Somebody was judging you.
They didn't take time to like
based on somebody else's belief, which 100%, is crazy.
Which was also kind of wild to me. And then other things like happened on that trip where it was like, one person in the group didn't like if somebody had something that they didn't approve of, like the leader of the group, and it like bled into other things. And I was just like, oh my God, get me home. And that was another shift in perspective for me. And so people for me has been a big one. I do have this like super tough like exterior, but I'm very much an empath in certain areas of my life. And I mean, don't come for my husband and my kids, and then I won't have an issue. Yeah. But people's perspective and what they're going through in those moments, right? So to the person that said, what's it like being married to a Trump supporter? I have since then obviously put myself in their shoes and been like, what damaged them in such a way that, they felt that that was the only attack that they could come up with, because we don't sit down and say like, oh, what's it like being married to a Biden supporter, or somebody who hates DeSantis, or somebody who loves Gavin Newsom, or like,
because who cares?
Right. I don't care. Are you a good person? Do you like love unconditionally? Do you believe in God? Okay, cool.
Right.
Like, let's be friends. Like, that isn't my perspective. My perspective isn't like, oh, you voted for so-and-so, I'm not going to talk to you.
No, your perspective is the positive in people.
Exactly.
Right.
And so those few things in my life have shifted my perspective on how I view people, and a lot of other situations too. I could never imagine judging somebody based on who they voted for or what their beliefs are. And the reality is one day, you're going to be standing at the gates of heaven, and you can explain to God. Like, you don't need to explain it to me.
God will ask you,
right?
Did you love your neighbor?
Right.
And you're going to be like, you're going to lie? Because no, you didn't.
I love the one to the left. They voted for Biden, but the one to the right voted for Trump, and probably not.
Exactly.
So yeah, my perspective on people has totally changed. Yeah. And it went from being very jaded to being like, sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes.
Nice work.
Sometimes, rather than judging back, you just let it go.
Yeah.
And it's what, Jesus said was you turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
And growing up, turn the other cheek always meant, like, in my mind, it was always like, just ignore it. I'm just going to turn the other cheek. I'm not going to look at it.
Right.
And that's it.
No.
And no, it meant like,
turn the other cheek.
Give me some more.
Yep.
Because I'm going to allow you to do it because I'm going to love you regardless.
Yep.
And I'm going to allow you to take your anger out and get it out and do whatever else you got to do.
Yep.
And I will be the saint who sits back and loves you as a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to judge you.
No.
You know,
It's true. I think once you can make shifts in for your perspective, it's true. Like your whole world does change.
Yeah.
And it's very wild.
For sure.
And it's great to talk about. Like you and I can sit here and be like, once your perspective changes, like everything will change, and people are going to be like, oh, okay, your perspective, your life's so much better. And it's like, no,
It's not better.
it's not better.
It's the same.
It's the perspective.
It's the same.
It's literally
Right.
the perspective.
It's the same. Because there are, even if you want to look at it from a financial standpoint, right? There are homeless people, and then there are poor people,
Yeah.
and the gap between the homeless and the poor is the same between the poor and the lower class. And it's the same between lower class and middle class, middle class, high
Yeah.
class, filthy rich.
Right.
It's the same. It's all perspective. Because everybody's missing something,
Always.
and not everybody has everything.
Yeah.
And the poor, I'm trying to tread lightly,
Right.
because I don't want to get eaten alive. But what I'm saying is that everybody has their own perspective of where they are in life. And you cannot have a perspective facing somebody else with negativity, because that person's going through their own shit,
Yeah.
and they're learning to change their perspective. And you literally have to just look at yourself and only yourself.
Right. Worry about
and
you.
Stop looking at other people. Stop worrying about what they're doing, what they're thinking, how it's going to affect you. Stop letting it affect you.
Yeah.
And just start living your life as you, almost selfishly.
Yeah.
You're still going to be a good person. You're still going to do things for other people. But stop judging and just start looking
That's a
from
hard
the
one.
inside out.
It's a hard one for
so
people to
hard
understand.
to judge. I judge often, usually from like a joking standpoint.
Yeah. But it's
Still judging.
Still judging.
Charlie,
for sure.
Charlie Kirk was talking about something, and he was talking about, nobody's a good person.
Yeah.
We're all trying to be good people.
We're all sinners.
We're all trying to be good people. We're all sinners, right? I don't forget what the stat was that he said, but it's like on average, everybody tells 20 white lies a day, all the way down to as simple as I'll be there in 5 minutes when
You won't
you're
be.
10 or 15 minutes away, right? So it's like, wow, you don't think that.
Right.
And as a good Christian, we don't think that way.
I know.
We think that we are always doing our best,
Yeah.
but we forget that we are not. We forget that we're trying to be good,
Right.
but we're not good people.
Right.
We're all a product of sin.
Of course.
Every single one of us. The second, Archer's 2 years old, and the second he learns how to lie, or the second he learns how to sneak, or the second he learns how to pull his sister's hair, he has now been kicked out of Eden.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The same thing. You are,
Yeah.
we are born like Adam and Eve.
In sin.
We are born that way.
Yeah.
And the second our brain starts to work,
Yeah.
we sin.
Right.
So, it's I don't know.
It's also so weird to think because, okay, so like with the treading lightly, right? I have been the person that's been like, wow, that outfit's really unflattering, or look at that person walking into wherever, right?
Right.
And then all I think about is like, 4 cars back, there's probably somebody looking at you doing the exact same thing.
1,000%.
And if that person said those things to your face, like, then what?
Yep. And sometimes I look at some of the stuff people wear for on that topic. And my perspective on that has now turned into, that's some confidence.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I try to keep that as positive, because
Yeah.
it's that there's confidence. I've seen some stuff that some people wear, and I'm like, that is a confident human being.
Yeah, but that also goes into the whole like new body positivity movement, which that could be like a whole topic for another day.
But again, you
yes.
should be body positive, and I'm saying that, I'm trying to say that.
Yeah, but you should also be healthy.
You should also be healthy, and you should also be trying
right.
to better yourself.
Right.
I'm not saying, if you're going to be this giant fat person,
right,
that you should be so happy in your fat body that you're not going to do anything about it.
Right.
Because there's nothing happy about a fat person.
Right.
There's nothing healthy about a smoker.
Right.
There's nothing healthy about a drug addict.
Right.
So confident or not,
yeah,
they're.
Well, and so again, right, to perspective, that was a shift in perspective on people, right? Like,
yeah.
I was looking at people and I was judging people and I was like, oh God, why would she wear that? Or what was she thinking? Or what was he thinking? Or whatever it can be. And then I'm telling you, I literally was like, there's probably somebody 4 cars back doing the exact same thing to me.
Guaranteed.
And it's, oh God, like if they said that to my face, I would be crushed, right?
right.
Like, oh, okay.
Right.
It would take me back. So it really is just that small,
worry about yourself.
Shift in perspective of like, you felt great in that outfit. You go, girl, whatever.
Go for it.
I don't care.
Right.
I'm never going to see you again.
You don't have to agree with it.
No.
There are so many things that I strongly disagree with.
Right.
Especially as a Christian.
Yeah.
But again, judging is one of those hard ones.
I think social media too has taken people's perspective and totally flipped them upside down.
Yeah.
Totally flipped them upside down.
Yeah.
Because social media became, I'll never forget it. It's had to be like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still very true today. But like, there was a meme that was like, I'm going to raise my daughter with values so that she's not, slinging protein on Instagram.
Right.
And it's like, makes you laugh because you're like, well, shit, that is where the world has come. Everything on social media is trying to sell you on something, giving you a better perspective, buy all of these things because they'll make you feel great about yourself. Mm-hmm. Clean your house out this way because if you live with less, you'll feel better. But then the next ad is like, buy all of these things to make your house look like you've got less stuff. And it's
buy all these organizing, all these organizing different products.
Social media has totally just skewed people's perspective because it's just trying to sell you on shit that isn't real.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, this outfit might make you look cute. It might make you feel great.
It's not real life.
But like those things you need to dig deep with. Mm-hmm. Like you got to shift that perspective internally to then worry about it.
Yep.
I have a joke and I didn't wear shorts for like 10 years.
Right.
Everybody that knows the real story is like, did you get over your fat knees? And I never said that I had fat knees. Somebody told me I did. Yeah. And that lived with me for years.
Yeah.
And then part of the whole, like, we're moving back to Florida and it's summer and it's hot. I'm like, I'm putting shorts back on and I don't really care.
Yeah. It lived with you until like within the last few years.
Yeah. I definitely did. And now I'm like, whatever. I don't.
Right.
It's too damn hot to put on pants every single day. But I think of what that person's perspective was like.
Right.
And what somebody said to them that changed their view on themselves. And then it trickled down into
how they
to me.
Said things to other people.
Right. And so when you look at perspective overall, it really does trickle down into a lot of other things, bleed into other things. And if you can have if the negativity can bleed as fast as it does, what do we think positivity could do?
1,000%. 1,000%. But that's the difference between good and evil and God and the devil is the attractive part about the devil is that everything is free. Mm-hmm. Everything is readily available. Everything is easy up front. All of it. Mm-hmm. That's why negativity is so easy to gravitate to.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? It's if I'm at work and I'm negative and I'm over it, what's the easy thing to do? Be done for the day.
Yeah.
Right? I'm done. I'm just going to leave today. It's early. I'm going to get here early. I'm going to make up some dumb excuse in my head why I'm leaving, and it's going to be great. And you know what? The rest of the day was great because I bailed off of work.
Right.
And it felt cool. But you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is going to suck.
Yeah.
Because now I have to do
twice as much work.
Yep. And then if I don't do it again, it just doubles and triples. Yeah. And so negativity is so easy to obtain. And that's the difference. That's good and evil.
Yeah.
Because the good, God's route, is hard.
Yeah.
Nothing is easy, but it's like that for a reason. Things were easy. If things are easy, you do them.
Right.
If things were easy, everyone would have the same things.
But things are easy when you give them to God.
They are, yes, I'm getting to. So they are easy when you give it up to God.
Yeah.
You follow his path. You get on his path. You follow his word. You read his word. You constantly talk to him and look up to the sky and pray to him and be thankful for everything you have. All the hard things start to lighten up.
Yeah.
Right? They just start to look easy, feel easy. And then you get through it and you're like, on to the next thing.
Yep.
On to the next thing. I feel great. On to the next.
Yep.
And it's a true driver. But you cannot do that unless you change your perspective. And, and I encourage everybody out there to give, God a chance. If you're not there, if you've been thinking about it, read the Bible. I read Matthew, which is a really easy book to read. But man, like that one has the most tabs that I've marked and the most highlighting that I've done so far. My Bible has been in Matthew.
Yeah.
Because it's just bone dry instructions in life.
Yeah.
It's super easy to read, super easy to grasp. It makes you smile. And, it's just reading the Bible has definitely changed the way I look at everything.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely starting to see real life situations come to life in the Bible that I'm going through. I'm like, wow, this is,
great.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Absolutely.
And going through Job right now, not that, we've lost a family or kids or everything. And now we're, drenched in disease and nothing's even close to that, thank God. But sometimes things feel like that.
Right.
Sometimes you're like, God, why is this so hard right now? I don't understand.
And then he says to you, why not?
Right. Right.
Why not?
Right.
I was just sitting there talking with Mom, Dad, and my sister the other day. And they were like, all right, God, like we learned the lesson. Why are we still in the situation? And I was like, because you didn't learn the lesson.
You didn't learn the lesson. Or it just wasn't done. It's not done.
Right. And that's the thing.
Right.
There's, maybe you have learned the lesson, but maybe there's something else to be salvaged out of this. Maybe there really is more that needs to come from it, and you're not there yet.
Right.
And you're not there yet.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
And that's totally fine.
But if you get tired of it and you turn around and start heading back the other way, you're doomed. You're doomed.
Yeah.
And it will bleed into your life. And it will sever relationships, and it will sever jobs, and it will sever your happiness.
Yeah.
And you will label yourself depressed, and you will label yourself anxious.
Yep.
And you'll get put on medication, and you just sit like a silent, dumb, numb,
Yeah.
lamb over there in the corner until you're done.
Right.
And that's the worst way to live.
Right.
So, the word perspective, I'd like to know how many times we said it this episode, but
I'm sure AI could count it for you.
Jump on the right path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Read books.
Yeah.
Get your algorithm on Instagram up to shape.
Do you really want to talk about people's algorithm?
Mine's 50-50.
Yours is
Mine's
wild.
Wild.
Yours is.
Okay. But
I can't even.
But half of it,
Yeah.
at least half of it, is God and positivity.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of really, there's a lot of good business, but a lot of the business guys I look at and watch and hear and read and listen to are, Christian-based businesses, Christian-based businessmen, entrepreneurs. And so, I definitely do my best to surround myself with constant positivity.
Yeah, things that feed your soul.
Right. Things that feed my soul, things that feed my interests, things that feed where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
And is it hard to, listen to 25-year-olds who are incredibly, wealthy and well-versed and, have MBAs and they're very successful people, yeah, that's really hard to watch and listen to.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a driver, because anybody, I can get there at 40, I can get there at 42, 43, and I got plenty of time.
Well, and you also don't know what that person's gone through.
No,
maybe they didn't get it easy. Maybe their childhood was
100%. Maybe they did get it easy. Maybe they didn't squander it.
right.
And so again, looking at things differently, and learning to, I see myself go that route, and I go, nope,
pull it back.
Just listen to the guy.
Yeah,
because he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk is how old?
Oh God, I don't know.
30?
Yeah.
And
yeah, because he just celebrated 12 years of turning
30. Like, the dude is prolific. He's profound. He's
so well read.
So well read. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
And his depth in Christianity alone.
Oh, wild.
Is astonishing.
Yeah. It's wild.
And his, political stance and his education in politics and, in 12 years.
Well, for a man who didn't go to college.
Didn't go to college.
Like,
but that's,
come on.
And that's, even at 40, I tell myself all the time, I need to start reading more. I need to start reading more.
Yeah.
And it's not because I just need to read more. It's because I need to become more versed in different areas that I'm interested in, curious about, want to talk about, especially on this podcast.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to sound like, the dumb half on the podcast who,
right.
Can't figure out, what words he wants to say or fumbles and tries to bail. So, that's what, there's a lot of young kids out there that, that I admire.
Yeah.
And I need to admire them instead of being, envious or jealous or so. But it's, it's perspective. There's 492.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah. We're at like at least 500.
I think I need to get back into reading. I love reading. It just is like, it's the very bottom of the to-do list. Yeah. But I have wanted to like sit down and be like, I just want to spend, even if it's 30 minutes a day, I want to get back into like reading 30 minutes a day before we get on TV or on our phones or whatever. And really just dive into things that feed my soul and topics that feed my soul. And sometimes it's stupid romance, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, like, but getting my head out of my phone or getting my head out of the TV or whatever it is, get back into reading because I do love it.
Right.
And there's so much wealth and knowledge in reading and so many things that you can turn around in your life just by that.
Right. And we were in North Carolina, went to the bookstore, and I grabbed that Tony Robbins book, which I need to read. Yep. Another really good, mind and voice in business and in Christianity that I need to be, that I want to be a part of. Yeah. Whether that's, from behind a book or, face to face, one day maybe, who knows. But, that's another person I want to surround my life with. Yeah. I need to be better about, one thing, that always, stuck. And I know a lot of people have said it, but the one person who did stick with that said it was even before he was president was Donald Trump. He's not the smartest guy in the room. And we all know that. Right. Right. He's a pretty average guy. Yeah. With a big mouth.
I'd take average though. Over.
But that man knows how to surround himself with the right people. And he's done that for 60 years. Yep. And I admire that. And a lot of people in business over the last 60 years have followed him. I think we forget that. Before he was president,
everybody loved him. Yeah. Everybody loved him.
He's a very popular man.
Everybody loved him.
So for you to sit back and say, you're a Trump supporter, you're a racist. No, because odds are, before he was president, before he even ran, you probably liked him too. You probably watched this show and got a kick out of when he fired people. Right. Like, give me a break, man. Right. But going back to it, that was one thing he said that stuck with me is, I'm not the smart guy. Right. But I am the guy who surrounds himself with smart people. Yeah. And that's what I need to start doing that more often. I have a really good friend group and we're all very intelligent, but outside of that.
Except for that one.
Which one?
I can't say it on here.
Oh.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. I don't know which one it is. But, outside, we all live in different states now. So, we definitely need to surround ourselves with local groups, whether that's a church group or a business group.
That one's so hard to break away from the core value of your friends and like what they brought to the table, but it's so true.
But we're good at bringing it back to our group.
Oh, always.
Gaston's really good about that. Yeah. Ryan's really good about that. And Josh, everybody's really good about that. but we joined the Chamber of Commerce here locally in Manatee County, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to really join into that physically.
Should probably get your haircut first.
Probably shave my beard.
Yeah.
Get a haircut so I don't look so backwoods.
You got this.
Every now and then I like to spruce up and then go back.
You do it every time.
I gotta go get a haircut every 3 months.
Every time.
But
you're right, surrounding yourself by those people, and putting yourself out there, right? You what is the saying? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
100%.
And it's like,
100%.
So start taking the shots, like start getting out there and meeting people. And actually, funny enough, like the guy who does the insurance for the building that we rent our office from, he stopped in one day and he was like, I would love to help you guys with your insurance. And we just ended up sparking up a conversation. He handles insurance for a lot of our customers.
Mm-hmm.
And recently he helped us out with our insurance. And he, I was talking to him today and getting the ball rolling for some stuff. And he was like, if you want my help with the other stuff, like I just didn't want it to be like a thing for you, and I didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
But if they're not doing what you need them to do, like let me know and I will take care of it. And I'm like, but also like was so willing to answer any questions about the other insurance company in a very honest manner that helped me understand things that nobody had ever explained. So I was grateful for that. And I was like, well, he goes to those chamber meetings all the time. I'm sure he could introduce us to hundreds of people
for sure
in Manatee County.
I mean, they do coffee chats and, little tiny seminars and training stuff. And we just, whether it's both of us or one of us,
somebody has to go.
Just need to start going. And, like I said, if we're going to be, a local business, then we need to be involved locally, not just at church, but, in the community. People need, when they see our trucks, I want the county and the city to know, oh, that's TDC. That's the dental company.
Yeah.
Those guys are good guys. We did some work with the Humane Society, and they praised us for it.
Yeah.
We did a really good job, but how different would that have been if we had already been involved in the Chamber of Commerce, right? Because there's more people than just the one we worked with at the Humane Society.
Yeah, of course.
And they may have been like, oh, that's Nick or Crystal or both. That's the Holmeses. That's the family company that we know well from the from the meetings and the coffee, and that's cool. They did that. They're a good company.
Which is kind of a funny transition into like just kind of doing a weekly roundup here. But Olive was invited to a VBS that was different from the church that we go to.
Yeah.
We go to Bayside. This was for Mill Creek Baptist Church. She was invited by a girl that she was in school with. And when we got there and watched the kids do their performance, and it was after I was talking to the pastor there and he was like, do you guys have church? And I was like, yeah, we go to Bayside. And he's like, is that your red truck over there? And I was like, yeah, that's our red truck. And he was like, I saw the Bayside sticker on it. And I was like, yeah. But he was just excited to have more people there. He had just taken over that church, and they've got about 80 people in their congregation. And so he's like, once I hit 100, I've got all these great goals. And it was just really cool to see and talk to, we go to a very large church.
Right. A large church
with huge production, and I love every second of all of it. Yeah. But then to walk into a tiny church, it was also super warm and welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, and Olive had a blast. And so, but he was like, oh, I saw your Bayside sticker. But he was just grateful to have people there.
Right.
And so he didn't care if you already went to a church or what the case was. And there was maybe 15 kids.
For sure. And they were having a blast,
Having a blast.
Again, he was just as excited.
Yeah.
As Pastor Randy at Bayside. Mm-hmm. So he was his perspective.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how big the church is.
Right.
He's still excited that there's 80 people.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
He's not looking at the sticker in Bayside going, man.
Nope.
They go to a huge church. No chance.
Yeah.
They're not going to talk to anybody that's going to come here.
Yep.
This sucks. This church is never going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Bayside.
No.
He
was in it.
Yeah. He's like,
thanks for being here.
We're cruising. Yeah. We're going to hit 100 people. That's exciting.
So cool.
So that's, everybody should live like that.
Totally.
Everybody should live like that.
Yeah. Are you getting emotional on me?
Every time.
Oh man.
My whole world is emotional.
I know. It is true.
Yeah.
So kind of transition us into what we've had going on the past couple of weeks, and we joined a church group.
Yep.
I don't know if we've really talked about it on
We
the
haven't
podcast.
talked about it at all.
So we joined a church group, Better Love, Better Marriage.
Better love, yeah.
Not because we have a rocky marriage, but we both agree like there's always areas and room for improvement.
You know what happens to your vehicle if you don't change the oil?
What happens to it?
It dies.
Yeah.
Right. So it's marriage maintenance.
Totally. And I love it. And there's so many different couples in there from so many different walks of life. Some that have kids, some that don't have kids, some that are older and have been married, couple of
at least
times.
one time.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the longest reigning couple has been married for like 14 years. And so many different walks of life. And it's so great just to hear their perspective on things or how they handle things. Things that they didn't realize they were doing. Now that they're in the class, they're realizing it. So it's been kind of fun. And Justin and Shelly joined, so fun for them. And Shelly and I were talking about it, and she was like, "My love language changed after having Beta."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Girl, your whole world changes." Like,
yeah, I can
Totally.
only imagine. From a man's perspective, just watching, his wife, get pregnant and have a kid is everything. So you're a completely different person than you were when I first met you.
Yeah.
From at least half of you.
Yeah.
Is a totally different person, whether you've matured differently.
Yeah.
Or you've, your mindset, your perspective has totally changed.
Yeah.
When it comes to a lot of things in life.
Definitely. And so it's kind
and
of.
I'm still just as immature and retarded.
Yeah.
We'll bleep retarded because we shouldn't be using that word.
No, but consistency is key,
Yeah.
So yeah, what else has happened the past couple weeks? Archer's really just testing his boundaries. He's buck wild.
Hey, the kid's crazy.
He is buck wild.
I love it.
It is
Because he's
great.
such a dude.
Yeah.
And his personality.
You know what is funny? Yeah. He's such a dude. Do you know what his favorite color is?
What?
Pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
He goes to my mom's, and every morning or every Tuesday and Thursday that he is at mom's house, he wants an orange. He's also a man of routine. He wants his orange. And then when Mimi says to him, "What bowl do you want?" He says, "The pink one."
The pink one.
"Which cup do you want?" "The pink one."
That's funny.
It's the
I
one
wear pink party pants all the
for
time.
sure. And he has an older sister. So
who loves pink.
Literally.
Her favorite color is pink, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And he's a product of her right lately, so.
Yes.
Yeah, he's funny, man.
So it is pretty funny. We've had to have some hard conversations with Olive.
Yeah.
Not any like bad conversations, just she wanted more cookies at the park one night, and it was a whole damn thing.
Yeah, and it's in the same exact example, the conversations happened lately where, it's, what's fair and what's not fair. And the reality is, I've told her this for a couple of years now, is that nothing is fair.
Right.
And now when I say, you know what, nothing's fair.
Yeah.
That's her, she knows what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Nothing is fair.
No.
And your life is different than their life.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody's going through something different.
Well, and having to explain to her too, just like people parent differently, people handle situations differently. You may be more sensitive to this than this person is. And so, but man, she hit me pretty hard with some questions, and I was just like, wow, you are one observant.
Oh, she sees everything. And she sees everything.
And in that conversation, I got super emotional with her because she apologized for being so strong-willed. And I was like, oh, nope.
Yeah, never.
You are never going to apologize for being strong-willed. Like ever. I go, do you know who else is strong-willed and who was always told how strong-willed they are and that I needed to tone it down? And she was like, you? And I was like, yeah.
Right.
I didn't tone it down.
Right.
Okay. Be you.
Right.
Like,
be you.
Do not dim your light for anybody.
Right.
I don't care what the situation is. Do you have to be like mean or bossy? No,
don't be offensive. But you can be strong.
But be you.
Right.
And so, man, but she just hit me with these like left rights, like out of the blue. And I was like, I was not ready for this conversation.
She's growing up, man.
She is.
There's a reality to today's kids that they are far more mature at these ages than we were. Because I don't remember thinking and talking like she does at 7 when I was 7.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy.
Right.
I was a boy.
For
and
sure.
Boys are definitely late
Yeah.
to frickin', explode at
Yeah.
that age,
Yeah.
Girls are like 10 when they're 7 and guys are like 3 when they're 7.
For sure.
So I'm still 12. So
You're negative 12.
yeah. But, she's very intelligent.
Yeah.
All of our kids are right. My parent and my kids, intelligent.
Of course.
But she's very intelligent and she's very intuitive.
Yeah.
She sees everything. She feels. She's in total empath. She feels everything, man. She had a friend that's at school camp this week.
Mm-hmm.
This week that fell off monkey bars, compound fracture,
fracture.
probably hit her artery because it was bleeding profusely. Had to get airlifted.
Yeah.
To St. Pete. And, all of us like, I was crying the whole time.
I know.
I'm like, it had
Didn't even
nothing to
happen to
do
you.
with you.
Yeah.
But she does that.
Yeah.
Archer will bump his head and start crying and she'll think maybe she did it or she
Yeah.
was so close to it and that she'll start to cry.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you crying? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
she's you.
She's me. Yeah, I cry for everything.
Totally
except for when people get hurt.
Yeah.
But, it's she's very smart and, it's hard to balance that, because sometimes I feel like I'm going to have real conversations with her, as an older daughter. And then I have to like kind of reel it in and remember that she's only 7.
Yeah.
And,
It's true.
and our relationship's starting to go to such a good place now, a different place now where, I have to remember she's 7.
Yeah.
And it's all positive stuff, but
Of course.
I might start to talk like she's 16, and I have to kind of reel and be like, she's 7.
Right.
I can't she's not my buddy.
Yeah.
I
No.
can't start
We're not friends
playing
yet.
around.
We
Right.
ain't friends yet.
Right. So I reel it in just
We got 11 more years
because
till we're
she
there.
talks like that.
I know.
She engages with us to that level.
Well, she was an only child for 5 years.
Right.
Which is a lot longer than a lot of other kids.
Right.
And so, she's always been and for the longest time, she was the only grandchild. And so on both sides of family, so she always got a lot of attention. It was always from adults.
Right.
And so she definitely comes with just soaking everything that she sees up and
and
has
again,
a lot of questions about a lot of things that, I wasn't ready for. So but I've always said, you and I have always agreed, we're not lying to our kids.
Right.
Now,
No. Right.
now like I'm not going to give you 3 cookies because you'll end up fat, like whatever. But when she actually genuinely asks a question because she's wanting to know the answer,
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
I will give it to you as
Right.
deliver the message to a 7-year-old, but I will not lie to you.
Right. And I'll even tell her, you're not old enough to know that answer.
Right.
It's a bad answer or it's an answer you're not going to understand.
Right.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it and bullshit her.
Right.
But yeah, we've always been upfront with her and I think she respects us for that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. How's work going?
Works good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're, I don't know. Not that, I never know what to believe, in QuickBooks because I feel like every day is different. But what was
You
it?
should
Was
believe
it?
everything in
Was
QuickBooks
it? Was
because
it?
it's accurate.
I know, but in 2 weeks it's going to be wildly different.
Well, yeah, because bills have been paid.
But what was it like? What it was? I looked at it yesterday, and it was year to date. We were like 2,499% over last year.
Yeah.
It was like we are doing good.
We are.
We are not doing that good.
No.
But
maybe
for that
maybe since last year
for that
we are.
moment in time,
Yeah.
on that day last year, it was like
Actually,
we're 2,500% higher, which is freaking mind blowing. Work is going really good.
This is actually, it might not be very wrong because this time last year we were doing that big project that we lost our ass on.
No, it's probably right.
So,
right. But again, in 2 weeks, it'll be like you're doing 45% better.
Right. Which
is
still fine.
insane.
I'll take better.
Most
better.
companies look at 7% year-over-year growth, and right now we are.
We're doing great.
I'm not.
God is good.
God is really good this year.
No, for sure.
God is always good.
Absolutely.
But this year he's,
He's blessed us in our business this year in ways that I didn't know could even be a thing. And given us, you and me, the ability to have conversations I didn't realize that we would be having, I was talking with a customer this past week that was behind on paying us their bills. And I was like, listen, I'll take our asses right off your job. Like, I've never thought that I would be that person
Right.
that would be in the position to be like, I have employees that have to feed their families
Right.
and their children and take care of themselves. And I will always make sure that they're taken care of.
Right.
And you should be doing the same.
We've already done your work.
100%. I've already paid all your bills.
Yep.
Not giving my money.
Show me that money.
Right. And so I never thought that I would be having those conversations. And I'm going to assume that the same goes for you, and having conversations on, you know, $1 million jobs
all the time,
and,
right.
and all of these things.
Right.
And so it's so great to see the blessings that he's
Right. Just even
placed in front of us.
Even being able to have conversations like
Yeah.
that, you know, about, you know, money and finances in this business, because the last 2 years have been
Rough.
2.5 years have been pretty detrimental
Mm-hmm.
to the company,
Mm-hmm.
and to family who have helped out,
Mm-hmm.
in the business and invested money and things like that.
Yeah.
And so to see the growth this year,
Super exciting.
is very exciting.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to think of what comes next. And, I've really wanted to, turn this business into something that we can utilize, for, God's kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a good outlook,
Mm-hmm.
to the future for that. Because, I think if we keep going like this in another year or two, we're going to be in a really good place.
For sure.
The business will be in a really good place financially to be able to help out in that perspective, that direction. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
I don't care. We'll always be taken care of. I'm not worried about that. The business could fail and we'll still be fine.
Yeah.
We'll still figure out how to make it. And again, I don't want that to happen, but I'm not worried about it.
No.
What I'm worried about is being able to, at this stage in my life, personally, I know you're where I'm at, but building something to continue to build, God's kingdom, because that's all that matters.
Yeah. This week I walked away from something that just no longer served me.
You did.
And
It's a good move.
it was a hard move.
It's a good move.
Super hard for me
I know.
to relinquish that control. But yeah, it was funny, I sent the email, didn't hear anything back. And my ego
Right.
at first was like,
Where's my replies?
what the hell, And then I sat back and I was like, I don't need it.
It's all good.
I don't need it.
Mm-mm.
Like, now I get it. This is where I stand, but that's okay too.
Right.
But yeah, one of the hardest things, but I have to say, like, very exciting, because now I can free up my time and energy into other things that do bring me joy.
Right.
Putting it into our business and
Right. Or even the podcast. Right.
Yeah.
We want to try to do
all these other things.
Do like a t-shirt release and
Yeah,
things like that.
we are working on that.
Right. So
Which is the first one I'm always so excited about. I'm like, oh man, I did send a picture of it to Shelly the other day, and she was like, God, I love you guys. And I was like, yes.
It's a good one.
Yeah, no, it's a really good one. So yeah, walked away from something that just didn't serve me anymore, and hard decision, great decision. Very excited to see where, the next the next chapter of life takes us. But yeah, all good things.
All good things.
So
Yep.
what else you got for us?
I think that's it. I'm not too well. There's one thing I wanted to kind of bring in, and we're running pretty lengthy on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good these days. Hopefully you guys are entertained
I hope so.
if you've made it this far.
That's true.
But, one thing I, wanted to kind of bring into each podcast was like a cool, interesting fact,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted it to be interesting, A, because there's other things I want to talk about, but B, I really wanted it to be able to use it in social media to gain,
Attraction.
attraction and buzz and things like that. And, one of the things I saw this week, I don't know if a lot of people know her. They probably know who she is, but visually.
Yeah, if they saw our videos.
But they saw her videos. But her name is Barbara O'Neill, and she's an awesome lady online, and she's very smart, very brilliant, and always has these. They're not hers because they're all the other accounts that make these little clips of all her teachings and stuff. Because she's usually at like a university or somewhere teaching.
Most of the time when you see them, there's a whiteboard behind her.
They're just clips of the whiteboard, right?
Yep.
Exactly. But this one was about wearing sunglasses and getting sunburnt. And this one, it really grabbed me and my attention this week because
Yeah.
on Sunday we went out on our friend's boat,
Yeah.
and I don't know about you, but I got pretty fried. I always get fried. It doesn't matter what I do. I get fried, but then 3 days later I'm fine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But like, no joke, a couple days after that, this video popped up on my Instagram, and it was Barbara O'Neill talking about, when we wear sunglasses outside, we were not born with sunglasses. We were not created with sunglasses. We were created with open eyes and a sun.
Yep.
And when you wear sunglasses, your brain is supposed to talk to your body.
Yep.
Right? It's supposed to, when you're not wearing sunglasses, your eyes are feeling the sun, feeling the heat of the sun, telling your brain the sun is hot.
Yep.
I'm outside. And then your brain takes that to your body and to your skin and tells your skin to start shutting down receptors.
Right.
And because of that, you get burned way less.
Right.
And when you're wearing sunglasses, your eyes are completely shielded, right? No UV rays are getting through.
Yep.
Your eyes do not feel the sun's heat. And thus your brain has zero clue that you're outside, that you're in the sun, has no idea how hot the sun is.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
How hot the sun is.
Yep.
And you always feel like, well, I know when it's going to be too hot because I'm going to feel it on my body.
Right.
But by then it's too late.
Right.
So I'm really curious about that one.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm really going to give it a shot, and try to not wear sunglasses when I'm in full sunlight at work when we're walking or whatever it is, or if we go out again this weekend and see, not that it's going to happen in one go.
Right.
But, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like
how we were designed by God.
We are designed by God.
Versus what the world has done.
Right. So we all wear sunglasses.
Everything.
We all wear sunglasses because it's easy, it's convenient, it's comfortable. And because of that, now we have to put sunscreen on.
Yep.
Because sunscreen is all artificial crap that we coat our skins with because we get burned.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's baking onto your skin. You're sitting in 110 degree weather.
Yep.
It's baking onto your skin. It never comes off.
No. Let's talk about why people actually have skin cancer.
Soaks into your skin.
It's not the sun.
Soaks into your bloodstream. It's not the sun.
It's not the sun, guys.
It's the sunscreen
the shit
lotion.
You're putting all over you.
Exactly. So, and then there was also another thing I saw where you can take the same. I made that lotion.
Yeah, with beef tallow.
Beef tallow lotion.
Yep.
And you take the same lotion. It's just 2 ingredients. I think it's just beef tallow and avocado oil.
Yep.
And you take the same 2 ingredients, whip it, and then you add powdered form zinc to it, and then that's your sunscreen.
Yep.
And supposedly that lasts way longer than any store-bought stuff.
We need to try
and
it.
It's way healthier because it's just natural oils.
Yeah.
And zinc is a natural form, a natural chemical as well, or a natural element.
Yep.
Also, so I thought that was really cool. But yeah, Google or look up, search, Barbara O'Neill, because she's got so many really cool things that she talks about. And she's also been attacked.
She's the reason I put onions in archer socks.
Yeah, right. That's true. And she's always being attacked. She's been in court and trials, and her name's been smeared.
Yeah.
Because she pushes out all the real things against the new average narrative.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So yeah, Barbara O'Neill, take a look at her. She's pretty cool.
Before we wrap up with prayer, I have a question that I want to ask everybody, and I don't want us to answer it now. I want us to answer it next week. Because I do want to take, this snippet, and I want people to answer it. And my question is, what are the things you used to pray for that you have now?
Is that like what did you used to pray for that
what
you
have been
now?
On your knees,
right,
praying to God for that He gave you now that you're not paying attention to?
I was going to say, is that something that you forgot?
But in any regard,
but you forgot
right?
that you prayed. You forgot you prayed for it. Now you have it, and you've almost taken advantage of it.
And you're right
to where you forget to be thankful for it continuously.
Yep.
Right.
So that's my question that I want people to think about is, what are the things you used to pray for that you have now? Could be anything, right? Husband, kids, house, job, whatever it is.
Right.
But what is it? It's my question to the world.
I like that.
Yep. What did you used to pray for that you have now?
I like it. That's a good one.
So
Start those comments.
now,
Start those conversations.
yep,
Start that prayer.
it's actually your turn.
It's not.
Pretty sure it is.
It's
It's not?
not.
Then it's my turn. Let's do it.
Do it to it.
All right. Oh, dear Lord, thank you for another blessed week, another blessed day, another blessed podcast. Thank you for the ability to use our mouths to speak your words so that people can hear them, giving us the opportunity to reach people who may not know you and may not know your goodness, but soon will, because your blessings are abundant and they are true. Continue to watch over our families, our friends, people listening, people of the world. I know we're going to start going through the thick of it here with presidential debates, and things are probably going to get ugly and probably going to be nasty. So I pray for both candidates. I pray that you guide them on this journey that they're about to embark on, keeping us as citizens and this country as a whole in your hand. Continue to guide us. I thank you for all of our blessings and all of the things that I've prayed for that you have given me. And I continue to look forward to all the blessings that you are going to bestow on our lives. Thank you for our business, for our employees, for keeping everybody safe and sound. But most of all, thank you for this opportunity, just another opportunity that you've put in front of us. And I don't want to ever take it for granted. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well said.
Right. See you later. Well,
Until next time.
See you later.
Yeah, no, I'll see you probably later tonight, but
probably pretty busy.
I'll probably fall asleep.
What time is it? Oh, it's 10:36.
No,
Yeah.
it's late.
I got a pretty busy schedule for the foreseeable future.
Well,
So
good luck to you.
Thanks.
And good luck to you.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
See you next week. Love you long time.
Does he though?
Do you think they say I love you too?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. I want to know.
I hope they do.
I'm going to take a clip of this one too. Do you guys say I love you too when Nick says I love you guys?
Love you guys. Love you, Nick. See you later.
Okay, Ryan Curtis.
See you later.
Bye.